Cortes, and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We are continuing our NFL draft recap of the 2024 draft, as we are now talking about the West and the AFC West. And we're not gonna waste our time, let's go right to it. Today's video will be talking about the defending two-time Super Bowl champion on their quest for a three-peat. We are talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, and to see these players guarantee a three-peat. You know, sometimes it's still amazing how well the Chiefs are. It's amazing that we live in a day and age where the best team in football, probably for the next decade and a half, maybe longer, is Kansas City. No disrespect to the Kansas City market, just, a little bit like, Kansas City. And before I get to their picks, we all know that the Chiefs and the Bills made a trade. Buffalo, the Chiefs beat you in the playoffs multiple times and have really been the reason why they have derailed your Super Bowl hopes. So why did you agree to trade with them when you probably should have taken the pick they had? Now I can see Buffalo probably want to go for more, quantity, not just for quality, while the Chiefs will take anybody and make them quality. Unless your name is Kadarius Toney, then maybe you can drop that, like how he dropped passes. So let's talk about them. So with the 28th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Xavier Worthy, wide receiver, Texas. We all knew they were going to get a receiver. We knew that. We knew. The question was, who? And it just so happens to be the one that is literally worthy of the selection, and it goes to the Chiefs. We all know they got Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown for his friends. I don't know, I'm going to call him Mr. Brown. For his speed demon-like abilities. Not so much his playmaking ability, but his speed was a big factor. And then you get Worthy, who also offers speed. So you literally have two receivers with an enormous amount of speed on the outside to catch balls from Mahomes. And you're telling me that Buffalo, the team that has been plagued by the Chiefs every single year in the playoff, except for that one because the Bengals beat them, you gave them another weapon that you have to try to cover when Buffalo is going through a transition as some of their key defensive players are no longer on the team. Maybe Buffalo is just a bunch of masochists. I don't know. But Xavier Worthy being picked up by the Chiefs. Now, it could have been any receiver, honestly. It could have been Coleman from Florida State. It could have been Troy Franklin from Oregon. Honestly, it could have been any receiver of worth to be picked up by the Chiefs. I think we all felt confidently that they were going to get a receiver. We just didn't think it would be this receiver, the one that had the combine, spectacular performance, and you let the Chiefs get him. Kind of feel a bit like you just gave, gasoline and a lighter to an arsonist. Good job on that part. But if it wasn't obvious, he's a day one starter, obviously. Now, I think it's more apparent because of what's going on with Rashee Rice, with his situation with the law and involving, street racing, leaving the scene of a crime, of an accident, and all that. That is the one that I think a lot of Chiefs fans, especially the receiving department, coaching staff, are wondering what is going to be the penalty. And Rice had a great season, and now there's a possibility he could be facing suspension at the beginning of the year, which I don't know how detrimental that is, because I feel like today's NFL, it's not so much at how you start as how you finish. So if Rice gets suspended, I do not see the Chiefs. Chiefs, granted, they have the Ravens and the Bengals to start us off, so we'll see how that impacts them. But the Chiefs may not be at full strength anyway, even if Rice was playing right away until Worthy gets immaculated to the system. Same with Brown. So we will know what moving forward, but the pick was devastating for everyone in the AFC West and everyone in the AFC and anyone that dares to fight the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, because you just gave them another dangerous weapon that's could potentially become a 10-year pro for the Chiefs for years to come. So the Chiefs, and really no real reason to fear, with the 63rd selection in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Kingsley Suamataia, offensive tackle, BYU. Suamataia? Taia? I'm very sorry. Offensive tackle, BYU. Okay. I mean, according to ESPN.com, he's projected to be the left tackle behind Morris, Wyatt Morris. So I can see he's probably being trained and developed into the new left tackle to protect Mahomes for, years to come. So I can see that they're not in desperate need. They won a Super Bowl with the offensive lineman they have that I feel like was probably a little bit worse than what they had last year than they had this year. And clearly I felt like it was the defense that carried the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. But getting a future star wide receiver and then hopefully a future star offensive tackle, very young in its prime. I mean, it seems like the Chiefs are just, reloading and ready to go without having to worry about a rebuild process that this may not be working right away. I still say a later, because offensive lineman injury is a thing that this probably could be get some playing time by the week 10, give or take. Definitely could probably see him if he gets acclimated enough to eventually become a short yardage situation, goal line situation, to help out as an extra blocker. So we'll see how much his development goes into, but this feels like he's being built for the future, and maybe not so much right now, but after this year, who knows? Maybe this guy may become the new offensive tackle that gets paid $100 million for his time services. We don't know, but we'll see moving forward. Then the Chiefs took a break. Said we're not in no need of a rush. And then they waited to the 131st selection in the 2024 NFL Draft. In the 4th round, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jared Wiley, tight end, TCU. Okay, if you want to find a Travis Kelce clone type, I think you got it. I mean, this guy reminds me a lot of a Jason Witten type of player. And I feel like in today's tight ends, they're no longer just big guy that can catch and go for 10 yards and then go down. And I feel like this guy is a now. Even though I feel like with Travis Kelce still in the fold and him behind everyone else, later will probably make more sense for him to be a later acclimated to the system. The biggest thing will be Travis Kelce. We know Travis Kelce's on the last leg of his career. We know that. We all know his situation off the field, and we'll see what that leads to. Not just his relationship status, but of course, what he wants to do. He's becoming more, spokesman for products. So maybe trying to go the acting route, similar to what Gronkowski's doing with USAA. That he's trying to develop himself outside of football as best he can, and maybe try to go that route there and go on the entertainment side. We don't know. But Travis Kelce, as long as Travis Kelce is still able to play, the Chiefs will always be, fine. But we all know that he's on his last leg. We all know that Gronkowski probably called it earlier than most people thought he would. And Kelce depends on his life outside of football, might call it soon. So getting similar someone in rawness makes sense for the Chiefs to go with this one. I would say keep an eye on Jared because he might surprise us, and I would not be surprised, honestly, if there are some plays where Jared will remind Chiefs fans of Travis Kelce used to run like that back in the day. And that could probably lead to Travis Kelce still being utilized, but maybe eventually being kind of showed the door like he might be on his way out earlier than later. So, but I'd say keep an eye on Jared on this one because I feel like he might be, especially with Patrick Mahomes, this guy could be a steal and probably even be more valuable than Worthy. Keep that in mind. So 2 picks later, or a pick in between. With the 133rd selection, still in the 4th round of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jaden Hicks, defensive back, Washington. They did pretty good on drafting McDuffie from Washington. I guess if it works wonders from one farm, go back to the farm and pluck out another defensive back to join your ranks. Now, I never really felt that the Chiefs that we lost Darius Sneed. We know that's the big. Ooh, that hurt. He went to Tennessee. We know that. I'm not saying that McDuffie is the perfect player. I think McDuffie has his own tactics that I appreciate more than Lindy Sneed. I feel like McDuffie has more of a physical type of corner, while Sneed's more of a precision. Like, he can almost match the receiver in step and be a good defender. If I were to prefer between the two corners, I prefer McDuffie a little bit because I like his physicality. But Sneed, athleticism, being able to cover receiver without basically touching them is beautiful to see. So the Titans got lucky. But looking forward into this, Hicks, the defensive back, it looks like he'll be a free safety behind Brian Cook in that department. I'm not going to say they're missing Tyrann Mathieu, but I feel like when he left, I feel like that aggressiveness of the safety kind of felt like it was a little bit more of a coverage than like run support and a linebacker supporter like Mathieu was offering. I'm not saying that Hicks is going to be a replacement, but I am going to put in regards to that as addressing that. Sorry, not Washington. Washington State. Why did I say Washington? I guess I don't want to admit that he's from the other Washington. Could be a viable asset and a rotational player, depending on the scheme. We'll see how well he do. I mean, the Chiefs have been very good with Ward and Sneed and McDuffie with the defensive backside. That I feel like he'll just be another player that eventually will develop himself and will eventually become a starter. Probably maybe toward the end of the season, maybe become a starter. But don't be surprised if he contributes, by week 2 or 3, especially against Ravens and Cincy. Yeah, keep in mind on that. Then the Chiefs took a little break and picked on late in the 5th round with the 159th selection in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Kansas City Chiefs select Hunter Nourzad, offensive lineman, Penn State. All right, now they have Hunter viewed as a center behind Creed Humphrey in the NFL and on ESPN.com mock depth chart. So it looks like they have him as a center in that regard. Now, that could easily be viewed as what he's probably being assigned for, but I really do believe a lot of centers probably have that versatility of interior offensive alignment talent. So I'm going to say that he may be viewed as that, but depends how the season goes. He might be utilized as an extra guard. Depends on schemes and situations. Creed Humphreys is still there. He's still a veteran player. So we'll see. Humphreys got drafted in 2001. So he's not like he's on his way out either. I think the question will just become, if it becomes too expensive for being too valuable, then maybe Hunter is meant to be a replacement in case Humphrey becomes too expensive to keep later. I don't know. But we'll see what Hunter can do. I'm feeling that he's a versatile player. That I feel like why he may be a center, but if he needs to become to a guard because of injuries plaguing the players, I think he'll be able to do it. So that's why I give him a later. We'll see what he does, by week 10, week 11 of the season. And offensive lineman injury does happen. We'll see if he gets asked to come in sooner than later. And then we go to the 6th round. And with the 211th selection in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Kamal Hadden, defensive back, Tennessee. Now, Hadden is viewed as a backup to Jalen Watson in the cornerback department. So in that regard of corner, I'm going to put in the same thing I'd put with Hicks as a now, because you're going against Justin Herbert, You're going against whatever Denver has and whatever the Raiders got, so mainly just the Chargers and whoever they still have. So, but I feel like this would be more sort for the playoff-bound teams like the Bengals, the Ravens, the Dolphins maybe, and to see what else is going on in it with the Texans moving forward. So this feels more like depth and situational player that, like I said, the Chiefs cornerback department have been very solid during the Super Bowl runs and success. And even though some have gone or traded or just, too expensive to keep, sadly, they seem to still find quality defensive backs through the draft and to keep chugging forward with their defense. Plus, it helps that Chris Jones is a disruptive hurricane in that defensive line, so it will make any A-plus defensive back S-class just based on the fact that, the quarterback has to throw the ball faster, so the DBs don't have to worry about covering that long. It does help. But seeing that Hayden can be contributing from Tennessee to the Chiefs, I feel like he'll probably be contributing by week 1, maybe week 2, definitely because of the receiving threats they'll probably be facing very early in the season. And the sooner he gets the sooner he gets knowledge with the scheme and system, the sooner he'll contribute. Then, with the last pick in the 7th round, the 248th selection of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select C.J. Hanson, offensive lineman, Holy Cross. Hanson, what do they have? Hanson, they have you as a backup to Trey Smith in the right guard department. I put you as a later because I believe offensive lineman injury is a thing to keep aware of. But also to consider that with all these young offensive linemen coming in, that you can't help but feel like they're preparing to make sure that when Mahomes, starts playing in his 30s, they have a young offensive lineman that's fresh enough to go for probably another 10 years for Mahomes' sake. So this just seems like insurance on insurance. And since a lot of them are speculated to be backups, 3 of the offensive linemen, they got Hanson, Hunter, and Kingsley, are all projectedly backups to the starters already. So I can't help but feel like they already got their insurance policy in place for the next level of offensive linemen for the Chiefs, mainly to keep Mahomes healthy and to make his career go as long as he desires, whether it's for health reason or just desire, because we all know that some quarterbacks, Tom Brady, never want to stop, and some quarterbacks kind of have to stop, Peyton Manning. So we'll see what path Mahomes, but I feel like this is just an investment for the future. I still say later because I do believe offensive line injury is a much bigger consideration of happening than any other position, especially when offensive linemen, those 5 literally are there every single play on offense, unless, situation calls a change, but really it's just the same 5 every single time. So I feel like the Chiefs have done what they always done: reload, don't rebuild, reload, and go forward. So that's the Chiefs draft. What do I give them? They're contenders, and this made them even more contenders. Made them contenders. I think the big bright spots is the defensive backs and the tight end. The 2 DBs they got, and definitely Worthy and Jared are the tight end and receiver. I feel like I said, keep an eye on those 2. They might take the Chiefs further, or at least back to where they once were, where they average almost 35 points a game. And with a defense that gives up barely 20 points a game, think about that average. This potential Chiefs defense, this Chiefs defense could theoretically be probably the best Chiefs team with a chance to win the Super Bowl than they have the entire Mahomes saga, where both with the defense shuts people down and the offense puts 30. So for all we know, this could be a 30 to 10 point ratio differential for the offense and defense moving forward. That could be it. Or this could be all smoke and we're all going to wake up and realize, wow, the Chiefs suck this year, even with all this talent. Question marks, conspiracies, you name it. The script is written, as always. So, that's the Chiefs. Next, in the AFC West, we're going to go to the team that got their first new head coach with a new coach smell, and he did not wait a single second to build his team the way he desires. So next time we'll be talking about the Los Angeles Chargers in the new era of the Harbaugh era. So until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you very much for watching.